Yo, what's up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So following Josh Warrington's devastating defeat to Mauricio Lara, Eddie Hearn has confirmed that Josh Warrington indeed has a rematch clause. Now where do we even start with this one? I guess we start whether Josh Warrington should even take a rematch with Mauricio Lara immediately. Me personally, I don't believe Josh Warrington should take that rematch immediately. First and foremost, that fight was a blowout. Yeah, Warrington was competitive in spots, he had his moments, but he got fucked up in there. Knocked down and brutally knocked out, took a lot of punishment, and he was second best physically in that fight throughout, and second best in most departments throughout, to be honest. And coming back from that immediately against the same guy, to me is a really, really big ask. You know, Josh Warrington stylistically is a come forward guy who relies on volume, pressure, and basically he tries to drown you in a sea of punches. He's never going to be a guy who's going to stick and move and box or change things up. He's going to fight the exact same way every single time. And the problem is, Warrington can get away with that against guys who can't punch, or maybe who can punch but are a bit smaller than him, so he can absorb those shots. We saw in there tonight, he fought a guy, you know, an aggressive guy who threw a lot of punches with power. Didn't do anything super special, but he was just relentless with power. And we saw Josh Warrington come unstuck against that style. Because ultimately, Warrington's a pressure guy with volume but no power. And Lara's a pressure guy with volume but severe power. And we saw the difference there tonight. Going into a rematch immediately, to me, would be the worst thing to do. I think it will take a long time to devise a game plan and a strategy to get Josh Warrington to follow to beat someone like Mauricio Lara. I think that may need a couple of camps, in all honesty. After that sort of defeat, I think Warrington needs a comeback fight, like a regular tune-up fight. Basically, use that first camp for that tune-up fight. Obviously, half prepare for the tune-up fight, but have one eye on Mauricio Lara and start adapting your style to fight Lara. And obviously, then use that style, that new style, in that tune-up fight. And after the tune-up fight, then maybe have a look at rematching Mauricio Lara, because right now, to me, it's just way too soon. Warrington needs to change a lot up to beat Mauricio Lara, stylistically, in my opinion, because doing what he usually does with that pressure style, there's always a big risk he's going to get knocked out again, because Lara, he's big, he's strong, throws a lot of punches with power. He's going to exchange with Josh Warrington. Warrington's open to be hit when he lets go of those shots, as we saw. And Lara is a guy who can actually capitalise on that, unlike most of Warrington's previous opponents. So, yeah, I think Warrington needs time to rebuild and, you know, come up with a new strategy to go in there against Lara with. I think that's going to need a couple of camps, in all honesty. And, you know, this fight does have a rematch clause, and apparently, according to Michael Coppinger, even if a rematch doesn't happen, Matchroom actually have options on Mauricio Lara. So, listen, even if Lara doesn't fight Warrington again, it looks like he's going to be on a couple of big cards in the future, which is good. But yeah, let's be honest. This fight was a blowout. You know, I'm all for rematches when the fight was competitive or controversial. And this fight was neither. Yeah, was it fun? Of course. And was Warrington having his moments here and there? Of course. But not to the extent where it merits a rematch. The problem is with these rematch clauses, I understand that it's practice in boxing, especially these days, but my problem with these rematch clauses is the fact that, you know, it can kind of hinder how a division moves. You know, someone like Lara, after that performance, to me should go up to the next level and try and fight a champion, but legally he's now looking at a rematch with Warrington, a guy he's destroyed. Whereas in reality, in an ideal world, he'd be fighting for a title next after what he did. It's what he would have earned. And yeah, to me, rematch clauses just hold up the progress of a division in certain circumstances, you know. But yeah, I mean, it seems like every other fight now has a rematch clause. I can kind of understand with like the big A-level guys, you know, the big money makers, for guys like Joshua, Fury, Canelo, Pacquiao, Mayweather. I can understand it in that perspective. These guys are, you know, businesses in their own right. I kind of understand it in that perspective. But guys like Josh Warrington and people like that getting rematch clauses, I mean, come on now. It's getting a bit too much now, in my opinion, this whole rematch clause phase in boxing. Lara won that fight decisively, in dominant fashion. We don't really need to see it again anytime soon. You know, Warrington needs to come back, rebuild, and if he wants to rematch Lara, you know, fair play down the line, but not right away. Let Lara move on and do his thing and see where he goes, basically. But yeah, what do you make of the news that there's a rematch clause in this fight? And would you advise Josh Warrington to take that rematch? I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. That was a traumatic defeat, both mentally and physically. Warrington took a lot of punishment in there. A lot of punishment. So how's he going to recover? I've got no idea. But, you know, right now his confidence must be down to the bottom, down to the ground. So we'll see. Very interesting. But anyway, share your thoughts below. It's been your guy Delboy. Peace.